Hello, my name is Allison Hardy, and this is my integrative learning project presentation. So let's go ahead and begin. So I work at a childcare facility, and at our childcare facility, currently there are no mandated classroom policies. And what I mean by this is the classroom rules or just those expectations that you set for your students. Right now, there's no clear policies on what those need to be. And there's no consistent communication. You know, in early childhood development, throughout our whole lives, having that clear communication of what your expectations are is essential for success. If that clear communication is not there, you know, it kind of gets murky, and especially with young kids, they need that clear direction of what they're supposed to be doing. And there's no clear foundation for the students. And what I mean by foundation is this center starts at infancy and goes through pre-K around 5 years old. And the children, as they move from classroom to classroom, the policies change and the phrasing changes. And so it's this whole new big task to relearn classroom policies. And our goal is for there to be consistent classroom rules and for the same phrasing to be used for those rules, and to be able to build a foundation for the students as they move through the center. And I'll go into that a little bit later on. But the stakeholders are first the students, because they benefit from having the clear understanding of what's expected of them. It can be really hard, especially those young students, 2 to 4 or 5, they're really pushing boundaries, and they're really trying to figure out what they can kind of get away with, and what really is expected of them, and how they are supposed to interact socially. The teachers benefit from the students having that foundation of what's expected of them and the classroom expectations. So when you have a new student move into your classroom, that child already has all those expectations, and they're set on that forefront, and then you can just build on it. And then the directors benefit from having an understanding of what's going on in the classrooms and what's being told to the students of their expectations. We have some students who have pretty severe behavioral issues, and when they need to take a break and go out with a director, the director would be able to know 100%, what the student knows of their expectations, and then be able to clearly communicate with them about what happened and what we need to do differently. So what's the problem? There's a lack of consistency right now in our classrooms. Each classroom, the teacher redefines what the policies are, what the rules are. Some teachers are very strict, some are more lax. And the teachers lack a sense of direction. In Idaho, in early childhood education, there's no mandating on how much education or experience a teacher has to have to be able to have their own classroom. So a teacher who may have very minimal experience or no experience at all can walk into a classroom and kind of be thrown to the wolves in a sense. And if that teacher is not given a clear sense of direction of this is our center and these are our policies that we need you to implement, it can be a little daunting or for those teachers. And the directors also lack action. I was an assistant director for a while, and every time I got excited and we talked about this, the directors loved the idea, but when it actually came down to implementing it, it kind of just went away and kind of piddled out, and I tried a few times. So we really want the directors to have some action with this. So my opposing solutions, model 1, is that the center has a specific set of policies that are followed and are built upon as the child matures. And an example of what I mean by building upon it, say you have a 2-year-old in a classroom. So you can talk about, we play safely. That means we keep our hands to ourselves and do a little motion. We keep our hands to ourselves, And then as that child gets older, you can still do, we play safely. That means we keep our hands to ourselves and we walk while inside and the bark stays on the ground, and you just keep building and building as the child gains that understanding of what those expectations are. And then in Model 2, which is more so how it is now, it gives freedom for the teachers to cater their policies in their classroom to the specific needs of their classroom. So if they feel there are certain policies or classroom rules that would be beneficial in their classroom, the teacher is able to do that. And for the solution, I said, let's create a foundation of rules that the teachers can build upon how they see fit, but also give the teachers the freedom to incorporate these specific policies based on the needs for their classroom. So let's say these are our 4 major policies for our whole center, is that we play safely, we keep our classroom clean, we listen to the teachers, and we are kind. And as those 4 policies are implemented, they're phrased the same, and they're discussed the same. But the benefit and where the freedom comes in is that the teachers would be able to build on them how they see fit. So one of my favorite rules is we are kind, because basically everything falls under we are kind, right? In a classroom, we play safely is we are kind, we listen to teachers, we are kind, everything kind of falls under it. But so, and again, in a younger classroom, we are kind. That means we say please and thank you, and we ask before we take something from our friend. And then you get into an older classroom and you could really go into we are kind. That means we use kind words. What are some kind words? What are words that maybe aren't so kind? How can we be kind at home? You can really build upon what these are and incorporate them not only in the classroom, but in, the social life for the child as they go home and wherever they interact. So yeah, that is my project. Thank you.